Here's your 1.2 quiz review worked out so that you may check your answers or get any extra help if you should need it. All right, in solving a two-step equation, we're trying to solve for the letter. We want M all by itself, so we know that the one that we do first is going to be the number, and the one that happens second is the one with the letter attached to it. So if we're going to get rid of a minus 3, we're going to plus 3 to both sides. Those cancel. You have 2m equals 16, and we know we need to divide by 2. So m is equal to 8. This is the top, this is your bottom, so that they may cancel and you divide. On this one, again, the first thing we're going to do is the number, and the second thing that we do is the one that's attached with the letter. So if this is a subtract or minus 7, we're going to plus 7. Those cancel. Bring this down exactly as you see it. And negative 2 plus 7 is 5. And now that 4 is in the denominator or being divided. So therefore we need to put a 4 in the numerator, or we need to multiply. But what we do to one side, we do to the other side. That way the 4 that's multiplied and divided cancel with each other, and x is equal to 5 times 4, which is 20. All right, let's take a look at number 3, following our same pattern here. This is the one we do first. If it's attached, just the single one, then the one attached to the letter is the one we'll do second. So if that's a plus 7, we're going to subtract 7. So you're minusing 7. Those will cancel. Negative 3w is equal to 12. And make sure you bring your sign down. You want to keep your face with your body. Now this is a negative 3 in the numerator or in the top. It's being multiplied. So therefore we need to divide. Now, it's very important that when you divide by exactly what you see, because we need a negative 3 to cancel with a negative 3. So w equals 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4. And you might want to write yourself a little happy note here. When you are dividing, you divide by exactly what you see. So if that's a negative 3, you divide by a negative 3. Okay, on this one right here, we want to get rid of that fraction first. So this is a divide by 3. It's in the denominator. So let's put a 3 in the numerator so that if it's divide by 3, we multiply by 3. Those will cancel. That leaves me with p plus 8 is equal to negative 15. And then if that's a positive 8, we're just going to subtract 8. So p is equal to negative 23. Okay, on this one right here, again, we know the 15 is the one we'll take care of first. And if that's a minus 15, we're going to plus 15. So I'm going to add my 15 over, and those are going to cancel. So bring down your 3x, and when you add those, you get 48. Divide by 3, and 48 divided by 3 is 16. Okay, here we know this is the one that happens first. The one that's attached to the letter is the second thing that we undo. If that's a plus 20, we're going to subtract 20. So subtract your 20 from both sides. Bring this down exactly like you see it. Negative 4n equals 16. This is a negative 4 that's attached by multiplication. So we need to do division. And we said just a second ago, you divide by the same thing. Exactly what you see is what you want to divide by. And we're going to do that on both sides. We have to be fair. So that a negative 4 cancels with a negative 4. And then n is equal to 16 divided by negative 4 is, of course, negative 4. Okay, let's take a look at the second page. All right, on this page, we're bringing in the distributive property. So the first thing that you're always going to do with one of these problems, if you have distribute, is to do that first. I like to draw this so that my eyes see that it goes to everyone. So 4 times x is 4x. 6 times 4 is 24. And that equals 48. And again, when you distribute, that is the same thing as telling you to multiply. That's what it means to distribute. And then from here, you have exactly what we just got finished doing, where that's your first, and that's the second thing that you'll do. So subtract 24 from both sides. So I have 4x is equal to 24. Divide by 4, because if that's a multiply by 4 or a 4 in the numerator, you're going to put a 4 in the denominator so that they can cancel, and x is equal to 6. All right, same thing over here. We're going to distribute first. Now be really careful. I'm going to put a little warning flag there because that negative is going to go through. Remember that when you distribute, that's telling you to multiply. So negative 2 times y is negative 2y. Negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8 is equal to 12. All right, we can do this one first. So subtract your 8 from both sides. So negative 2y, bring that down just like you see it. Make sure you keep your face with your body, that negative sign. And then that's 4. And if that is a multiply by negative 2, I'm going to divide by negative 2. That way I have one in the top and one in the bottom so they can cancel. And then y equals a positive divided by a negative is a negative 2. Okay, again, let's distribute. First thing. And that means to multiply. So I'm going to distribute, and I'm going to have 6 times 4 is 24y. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18 is equal to 30. All right, let's add the 18 because that's the one we're going to do first. The negative 18 and positive 18 cancel. Bring down your 24y. If you add those, you get 48. That is multiply by 24, so we're going to undo that with a divide by 24. And y is equal to 2. Okay? Another distribute, and we're going to have a negative, so we're going to be really careful with that. So we're going to multiply negative 5 times 2 is negative 10x. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5 is equal to 15. This is the one we'll do first. So if you have a minus 5, you undo it with a plus 5. Those cancel. Bring that down as negative 10x equals 20. This is a negative 10 multiply, so we divide. And remember, you divide by the same thing. Whatever you see, that's what you have to divide by. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 10, and those negatives are going to cancel and have a positive divided by a negative, which is a negative 2 right there. Okay, now let's move to the multi-step equations. Multi-steps just means there's one more extra step than what we had, but the basics are very similar. All right, so the first thing that you want to do when you have a multi-step equation is you want to clean things up. You must first, if there's not anything to distribute, you have to clean it up. You have to do all your chores before you go over to your friend's house. So I'm looking at my like terms, and I see that that is a 9a and a negative 7a. They are like each other. This 4, he doesn't have any like terms, so I'm going to end up bringing him down. But 9a's minus 7a's is 2a's, and that's a plus 4. I'm just going to bring that down. is equal to negative 12. And then it's exactly what we just got finished doing. This one's first. If that's a plus 4, we're going to minus 4. Those will cancel. And I have 2a equals, and that's going to be negative 12 because you have a negative 12 and a negative 4, which is a negative 16. Divide by your 2 so that you have one in the top and one in the bottom so that they cancel. And a is equal to negative 8. Okay, over here, once again, you must first collect your like terms. You got to clean this up. Get your people together. Get all your friends together. So do that first. You first have to clean it up before you can go over to the other side and to your friend's house. And so I have negative 11 and positive 3, which is negative 8p, and bring down your minus 6. And then it's what we just got finished doing. If that's a minus 6, I'm going to plus 6. Those cancel. So bring down your negative 8p, and negative 30 and 6, that's going to give you a negative 24. The negatives win that battle. And so that's a negative 8 in the numerator. So we're going to put a negative 8 in the denominator. Got to remember, got to do the same thing. Otherwise, it won't cancel. But I need a negative 8 and a negative 8 to cancel because that's multiply 8. We divide by 8. And I have p is equal to a negative divided by a negative is a positive 3. So positive 3 is your answer. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. All right, number 13. Okay, more multi-step. The first thing that we want to do, of course, is to distribute. That's first and foremost. So we're going to distribute first. So 6 plus 5m plus 5 equals 26. So I distribute first. The next thing you have to do is you have to collect your like terms, clean it up, get your like terms together, your friends together. So I see that a 6 and a 5, they're like terms. Now this 5m right here, he doesn't have any like terms, so we're going to end up bringing that down. And it really doesn't matter what order, if you do the blue or the yellow first, but if I wanted to put the 6 plus the 5, that's 11 plus 5m is equal to 26. Okay, now remember, this is the one you do first. The one with the letter, the variable, that's the one you do second. So I look in front of his face and see that he's a positive 11. So I'm going to subtract 11. Those cancel. Bring down your 5m is equal to, and I subtract that, I get 15. That's a multiply by 5. So I'm going to divide by 5. There's a 5 in the numerator. So I put a 5 in the denominator. And m is equal to 3. Okay, on this next one. First thing, distribute. And I see a negative, so I'm going to be a little extra cautious. Remember that to distribute means to multiply. So when I do that, bring down your 2k because it's not their time yet. So just kind of plop that down. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6k. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9 equals 45. All right, now we want to clean it up. Get your like terms together. So then I'm looking for my friends, a 2k and a minus 6k. They're like terms. And that 9, he doesn't have some like terms with him right now, so we'll bring him down. But 2 of them minus 6 of them is negative 4 of them plus 9 is equal to 45. This is the one we do first. So subtract your 45. And so I'm going to let those cancel. So negative 4k is equal to, when you subtract, you get 36. That is a negative 4 in the numerator. So I'm going to put a negative 4 in the denominator. And we said that you have to divide by the same thing. So here I'm going to have that negative 4 and that negative 4 to cancel. So I have k is equal to positive divided by negative is a negative 9, just like that. Okay, we're going to distribute first. So distribute all of those. When I do that, that's 2 times A is 2A. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 3 times A is 3A, and 3 times 3 is 9, equals negative 11. All right, after we do that, we know that we are supposed to clean things up. So clean up your like terms. So I have some A terms that are friends with each other. I have some just numbers that are friends with each other. So on my A terms, if I have 2 of them plus 3 of them, I have 5 of them. 10 plus 9 is 19, and bring down your negative 11. All right, so I know that this is the one I do first, and if that's a plus 19, I'm going to subtract 19. Those cancel. Bring down your 5A, negative 11, and negative 19 is negative 30. That's attached by multiply. That's 5 times the A, so I'm going to divide by that 5. In other words, I have one in the top and one in the bottom, so the numerator and denominator will cancel. And then here I have negative divided by positive, which is a negative 6. Okay, this one. So we're going to distribute first, and I'm going to be really careful with that. Some people like to put a 1 right there, and that's just personal preference. Again, remember that when you distribute, it means you're multiplying. So 3 times 2 is 6y. 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. Here you're negating that 5, or you can think negative 1 times 5, either way, but it's negative 5y. You are negating that 12 to make it negative 12, or you can think negative 1 times 12. It's whichever way your mind thinks about it. And bring down your negative 14. All right, let's collect some like terms. I got 6 of them and negative 5 of those. And here I have negative 21 and negative 12, because we know that we have to clean things up before we can go over to the other side to our friend's house. And so I've got 6 of them minus 5 of them gives me 1. Negative 21 and negative 12, that is negative 33, is equal to negative 14. And then I need to plus my 33 because that's a minus, so I'm going to plus. You always undo it, and plus undoes a minus. Those cancel, and that gives me y equals 19. Okay, you're doing great. Here, we know that we have to distribute first, so we're going to distribute that first, and that's telling me to multiply. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And then right here, just going to bring those down. Just bring them down like they are. All right, collect your like terms. We got to do our chores. We got to clean things up. You got to do your chores before you can go over to your friend's house. And so here you've got 2x and 4x. They're like terms. We're going to clean those up together. And they're like terms. We're going to put those together. So 2 of them plus 4 of them is 6 of them. Negative 6 and negative 7 is negative 13 equals 3. Okay, undo a minus 13 with a plus 13. Those cancel. 6x is equal to 16. That's a multiply by 6, so we divide by 6. That way there's one in the top and one in the bottom that can cancel. Now, 6 does not go into 16. So what we have to do, doesn't go in there perfectly, we just have to reduce. You know that 2 goes into each of them. 2 goes into that 8 times, and 2 goes into that 3 times. So we reduce it and get 8/3. All right, let's take a look at this one right here. So you have a triangle, and hopefully you remember that there's 180 degrees in every triangle. If you don't remember that, There it is. I tell you there's 180 degrees in the triangle. So that means we're going to take all three of these angles, angle A, B, and C, and we're going to add them up to total 180 degrees. So we're going to say that 5x plus 3, the 4x minus 7, and the 6x minus 11, all three of those people total up to 180 degrees. All right, again, now we need to collect our like terms. So got to do our chores, got to put your people together. All those are like terms, and I like to kind of keep those faces with that. All right, then I've got a 3 and a negative 7 and a negative 11. So we're going to collect our like terms. And so we've got 5 plus 4 plus 6. That gives me 15 on the x's. Now you have positive 3 and negative 7, which is negative 4. And that negative 4 and that negative 11 is a negative 15 equals 180. All right, solve your equation. So we're going to add 15, bring down 15x is equal to 195. That's attached by multiply. So we divide, one in the top and one in the bottom, cancel numerator, denominator. And then here, 15 goes into 95 exactly 13 times. So x is 13. But we also want to find the measure for each of those angles. Well, what we're going to do is this. X is equal to 13, so we're going to let him go live in his house. He's got a house right there. He's got a house right here at B. And he's got a house right there at C. So just come over here and just truly say 5 times 13 plus 3. So you might even just want to type it in on your calculator. 5 times 13 plus 3. And if I do that, 5 times 13 is 65 plus 3. And that makes angle A be 68 degrees. All right, do the same thing here. You have 4 times 13 minus 7. So 4 times 13 minus 7. 4 times 13 is 52. Minus 7 is 45 degrees. All right, last house, 6 times 13 minus 11. So 6 times 13 minus 11, and when I multiply those, and then I subtract 11, I get 67 degrees. Okay, let's take a look at the next page, last page. All right, another application is when we talk about the perimeter of a rectangle. So perimeter is around the edges. Around the edges. Maybe you've heard someone say we have to secure the perimeter, make sure everything's safe around the building. Now, with a rectangle, this side, which is 5x minus 2, equals this side, which is 5x minus 2. And this side, 3x plus 1, equals this side, which is 3x plus 1. So we're just going to go truly around this green rectangle and just add them all up. That 5x minus 2 side plus this 3x plus 1 side plus this 5x minus 2 side plus this 3x plus 1 side is equal to the perimeter, or 62. All right, let's get our people together. Got to do our chores before we can go to the other side over there, over that other equals. So I have 5x and 3x, 5x and 3x. They're like terms. I have a minus 2, a plus 1, a minus 2, and a plus 1. So putting my x terms together, 5 plus 3 is 8. Plus 5 more is 13, plus 3 more is 16 on the x's. On my constants are just my numbers. Negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1, and negative 2 is negative 3, plus 1 is negative 2, is equal to 62. All right, then we're just going to solve it. Add your 2 over, so add 2. And I get 16x is equal to 64. All right, that's a multiply by 16, so we're going to divide by 16. In other words, one in the numerator and one in the denominator. Cancel. And then I'm coming over here and dividing. That's 64 in the top. Divide by 16 in the denominator, which is 4. So x is 4. And once again, let him go live in his house. He has a house right here. And I call that length, but it's not a terrible big deal if you want that to be the width. You just got to get the dimensions, which are length and width. So here, let him live in this house. And so I'm going to say 5 times x, which is 4, minus 2. So 20 minus 2 is 18 for the length. And then here, 3 times 4 plus 1, which is 12 plus 1, which is 13. Okay, these last ones, you're going to be given an equation in words, and you're going to translate it into a numerical equation and solve it. So this first one, it says the sum of 3 times a number and 4 is 19. So you probably remember, but sum means to add. So you're going to add 3 times a number and 4, and it's equal to 19. So that's the sum, the plus, of 3 times a number and 4 is 19. Subtract your 4 from both sides. 3x equals 15. Divide by 3. And your number is 5. X equals 5. The next one. 8 plus the quotient of a number in 3 is negative 2. All right, let's think about quotient. Quotient means to divide. Quotient means to divide. So it says I have 8 plus the quotient, or things divided, which is a number, and 3 is negative 2. So that's 8 plus the quotient of a number and 3 is negative 2. Okay, remember, this is the one we do first. And if you're attached to the letter, that's the one you do second. So we're going to subtract our 8. Subtract your 8. That leaves me x over 3 is equal to negative 10. All right, this right here is a divide by 3. That 3 is in the denominator, so we need to multiply by 3 in the numerator to both sides. That way you have a 3 in the top and bottom to cancel. And x is equal to negative 10 times 3, which is negative 30. Okay, last one. It says the difference. If you're taking the difference of things, you are subtracting those things, or minus. So it says the difference of twice a number and 5. So it's a difference. So twice a number and 5, that difference is 3. And then it's just a simple solve. Add your 5. 2x is equal to 8. That's a multiply by 2. So you're going to divide by 2 so that they cancel. And x is equal to 4. All right, hopefully this helps and that you'll do well on your quiz. See you next time.